Rafael Vega hit the bedroom floor. Not from a fight, not from a wound, from a woman's hands. Pushing him away with both palms flat against his chest, her face twisted in something between panic and shame. "I'm so sorry. I can't." She was already sliding off the bed, gathering the sheet around herself like armor. "It's not you, I can't." He said nothing. He lay on the floor and stared at the ceiling and let her apologize her way out of the room. This was the 10th woman in a month. 10. The first had run the moment he undressed, eyes going wide with something that wasn't desire, before she snatched her clothes and left without a word. The second had tried. She'd genuinely tried, but 3 minutes in, she'd started crying. Not from pain, from fear. She'd shoved him so hard he nearly hit the nightstand. The 3rd through 8th followed the same pattern in different configurations. Some made it further than others, some didn't make it to the bed at all. One had actually laughed, a nervous, escalating laugh that dissolved into apologies and a hasty exit. The 9th had been angry about it, called him a freak, slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frame. And now this one, number 10, was gathering her clothes with shaking hands and still apologizing between breaths. "It's not you. I can't. I'm so sorry." He didn't respond. What was the point? As she hurried out, his phone rang. His head of security, Marco. "Boss, I found someone for the PA position. She's different. Grew up rough, streets, no family, no ties, and she has no fear. I mean that literally." Rafael was still on the floor. He stared at the ceiling of his Mexico City penthouse, the city spread out beyond the windows in 10,000 indifferent lights. He needed a personal assistant he could trust with information that could get him killed. His last PA had resigned when a rival cartel left a message on his car. The position required someone who could travel without notice, manage classified communications, and keep their mouth completely shut. "Fine," he said. "Send her tomorrow." He hung up and didn't move. 10 women in 30 days. 10 rejections. He was the most powerful man in Mexico City, feared by people who deserved to fear him, respected by those who understood what he'd built, untouchable in every room he walked into. Except this one. He'd accepted it mostly. This was his life, powerful in every way except the one that quietly hollowed him out. The next morning, Rafael sat behind his desk and waited. The PA position had gone empty for 3 weeks. The previous hire had relocated after a threat made her family uncomfortable with her employer. The new candidate came with one reference, Marco's word, which was either enough or it wasn't. The door opened without a knock. The woman who walked in looked like someone who had decided at some point that the world's opinion of her was not a relevant piece of information. Worn sneakers, dark jeans, a plain white t-shirt under an open flannel. Her locks were pulled back loosely, and she carried a canvas tote with a grocery store logo printed on the side. She was black, dark-skinned, with the kind of face that revealed exactly what it chose to reveal, and nothing else. She didn't stop at the threshold, didn't bow, didn't smile nervously like everyone did when they entered this office. She walked straight to the chair across from his desk and looked at him directly. "You Rafael Vega?" His right-hand man, Esteban, standing by the door, went rigid. Nobody walked in here like that. Rafael studied her. "And you are?" "Zara." She dropped into the chair without being invited. "Your new PA. Marco said you needed someone who doesn't fall apart when things get complicated. So, here I am." Rafael's eyes narrowed. "You're here on a recommendation. That doesn't mean you have the job." "Cool." She pulled out her phone and started scrolling. "What do I need to do to prove it?" "Put the phone away." His voice dropped to the register that made grown men sweat. Zara looked up, met his eyes without hesitation, and slowly put the phone in her back pocket. Better. Esteban coughed to hide a laugh. Rafael leaned back. Most people couldn't hold his gaze past 3 seconds. This woman was going on 30 and hadn't flinched once. The job pays well, but people will try to kill you to reach me. They'll offer you money to betray me. They'll threaten anyone you're connected to. Don't have anyone to threaten, Zara said flatly. And I've had people try worse than killing me. Didn't work out for them. He slid a document across the desk. Read it carefully. She picked it up and scanned through. Her eyebrows moved slightly. Not shocked, just interested. The contract outlined her duties. Manage his schedule, handle classified communications, accompany him to all business and social functions, and when necessary, pose as his fiancée to maintain certain appearances in contexts where powerful men responded better to a man who had something to protect, something to lose. The pay was outrageous. The travel was constant. The danger was real. Zara looked up. So basically, I'm your fake fiancé without the actual fiancé part. Rafael almost smiled. Almost. You'll have housing, full medical coverage, and security access. But in public, yes, you'll need to be convincing as someone who cares about me. Act like I'm in love with you. Can you do that? She tilted her head. That's the weird part for you? Not the part where people might shoot at me? Can you do it or not? I can act. A shrug. Street Survival 101. You learn to be whoever you need to be. When do I start? Tonight. I have a dinner meeting with a potential business partner. He doesn't trust men who show up alone. You'll come as my fiancé. Zara stood up. What time? 7. Esteban will take you shopping. I don't do heels and dresses. Tonight, you do. They looked at each other. A full, quiet war. Finally, Zara exhaled dramatically. Fine. But if I fall and break my neck, I'm haunting your penthouse. Deal. 3 hours later, Zara stood in a designer boutique on Presidente Masaryk, looking like she'd been sentenced to something unpleasant. Esteban had dragged her through 4 stores. She'd rejected everything. Too tight, too exposed, too much. This is actual torture, she said, holding up a silver dress that probably cost more than 3 months of her previous rent. Boss said you need to look the part, Esteban replied, checking his watch. We're running out of time. I look like a part. The part of someone about to rob this store. Esteban's girlfriend, Sophia, who joined because Esteban had no patience for fashion and knew it, appeared with something on a hanger. Try this one. Deep green. Elegant, not revealing. The fabric has stretch, so you can move if you have to. Zara took it reluctantly and disappeared into the fitting room. When she came out, even Esteban had to acknowledge it. The dress suited her, draped well against her dark skin, structured enough to read as intentional, simple enough that Zara still looked like herself. Like she could throw a punch if necessary, and had simply chosen not to yet. Shoes? Sophia offered a pair of modest block heels. Absolutely not. Zara held up a hand. I'll wear the dress, I'll smile at the right moments, but I'm not breaking my ankles so a businessman feels comfortable. He can deal with it or fire me. Before Esteban could argue, a voice cut through the boutique like a blade. Well, isn't this something? A woman approached, polished, expensive, beautiful in the high-maintenance way of someone who had always been told that beauty was leverage. She scanned Zara from head to toe with a smile that didn't reach anything real. Can I help you? Zara asked, not moving. I'm Camila, the woman said pleasantly. Rafael's girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, Esteban corrected quietly. Camila shot him a look. Is that what he's calling it? We had dinner last week. We're just taking a breath. Zara looked her over without particular expression. Cool. I'm his PA, not his relationship manager. If you have issues, take them to him directly. Camila's smile disappeared. She stepped closer. Let me give you some advice. Whatever you think you're doing, you're out of your depth. Rafael needs a woman of standing, of culture, of... The slap came so fast, Esteban nearly missed it. The sound cracked through the boutique. Camila stumbled backward, her hand flying to her cheek. Before she could recover, Zara grabbed her by the designer lapel, lifted her like she weighed nothing, and carried her straight out the front door. The trash bins were right outside. Zara set her down inside the nearest one with complete efficiency, ignored the screaming, pulled out her phone, took one photograph of Camila tangled in garbage bags, and walked back inside. "I forgot the dress," she told the horrified sales associate. "Can you ring this up?" Esteban's phone was already lighting up. Someone outside had filmed the whole thing. Within minutes, it was trending across the city. His phone rang. Rafael. "We have a situation," Esteban said immediately. "I saw." Rafael's voice gave nothing away. "Where is she?" "Still in the boutique." A pause. "Tell her well done." Esteban blinked. "Boss?" "Camila has been a problem for 6 months. Your new hire just resolved it. Tell her." The line went dead. Zara came out holding the bag, still refusing the heels. "Are we done, or do I need to throw anyone else away today?" Sophia stared at her like she'd witnessed a superhero origin story. Esteban shook his head slowly. "Boss says well done." "Of course he does." Zara checked the time. "Can someone feed me? I haven't eaten since yesterday morning, and if I have to charm rich people tonight, I need actual food first." As they left, Esteban texted Rafael. "She's either your best hire or your biggest problem." The response came immediately. "Maybe both." If you are loving Zara bold energy and want to see how this dinner goes down, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me what you think happens next. Should Rafael be impressed or terrified? Let me know below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what happens when this two clashes at the dinner table tonight. Rafael adjusted his cufflinks for the 3rd time, which was unusual. He didn't show nerves. But the video had circulated through every circle in the city, and somehow his reputation had only sharpened. People were calling him ruthless by association. They respected it. The penthouse door opened. Zara walked in, and Rafael forgot what he'd been about to say. She'd kept the green dress, but paired it with clean white sneakers, sleek ones, clearly bought during the shopping trip. Her locks were down now, falling past her shoulders. Minimal jewelry, lip gloss, and somehow she looked more quietly dangerous than any woman he'd ever seen in diamonds and designer heels. "Before you say anything about the shoes," she said, "I can't run in heels, and I don't trust these business people, so if someone pulls something tonight, at least one of us can move." Rafael studied her. "You think someone will pull a weapon at a restaurant dinner?" "I think you're a cartel boss meeting with someone who wants something from you. So yeah, I came prepared." She noticed his expression. "What?" "Nothing." He picked up his jacket. "Let's go." In the car, Zara read through the file on their dinner guest, a port access broker named Gerardo Fuentes, who controlled Pacific Coast Logistics. She absorbed information like it was water, asking precise questions about his background, his allegiances, his pressure points. "You actually prepared for this," Rafael observed. "You're paying me not to be useless," she replied without looking up. This man is slippery. According to this, he's walked away from 2 deals at the finish line. He's an emotional negotiator, decides based on comfort, not numbers. She turned a page. "So I'm guessing my job tonight is to make him feel like he's in a warm, safe room with people he can trust." Rafael's respect for her moved up a notch. "Exactly." "How affectionate are we talking?" "Whatever feels natural." "Nothing about this feels natural." She finally looked at him. "Just don't flinch when I touch you. It kills the illusion." He looked out the window. "I don't flinch." "We'll see." The dinner went better than expected. Gerardo Fuentes was charmed within 40 minutes, not by Rafael's power, which impressed him but also made him cautious, but by Zara. She laughed at the right moments, asked about his children by name, from memory, rested her hand on Rafael's arm with such quiet certainty that it looked completely real. Rafael found himself acutely aware of her hand on his arm the entire evening. When she leaned close to whisper something sharp and funny about Fuentes's tie directly into his ear, Rafael had to concentrate on keeping his expression neutral. The deal was agreed upon before dessert. In the car back, Zara kicked off her sneakers, put her feet up on the seat, and scrolled through her phone. "You did well," Rafael said. "We did well." She didn't look up. "You were good when he lowballed the access fee. That silence? You let him fill it himself. Smart." "You noticed that." "I notice everything." She looked over. "I'm going to be very good at this job, for the record." Rafael looked at her in the dark of the back seat, city lights moving across her face. "I'm beginning to think so." The weeks that followed were professionally exceptional and personally complicated. Zara was meticulous. She learned his schedule before being told it, anticipated needs before they were voiced, and managed classified communications with a discretion that suggested training he hadn't asked about yet. She was also, in the penthouse they now shared for security reasons, completely impossible. She ate cereal at midnight, watching true crime documentaries at full volume. She reorganized the kitchen in a logic system that made no sense to anyone else and couldn't be explained. She argued with the security team about exit protocols, not because she disagreed with the exits, but because she found the discussion interesting. And she came to work every morning in tailored clothes she'd been steadily acquiring with her new salary: fitted blazers, clean trousers, good shoes, and looked increasingly devastating in all of them. Which was a problem Rafael had not anticipated. Zara. We should discuss the Monterrey situation. Already handled. Reached out to Rodrigo's contact, realigned the timeline, sent you the summary at 6 this morning. She didn't look up from her laptop. Also, did you know octopuses have 3 hearts? That's not... Completely wild. Anyway, your 2 o'clock is here. She stood and gathered her things. And I quietly removed your financial analyst from the payroll. Rafael looked up. You did what? He was skimming. Found the discrepancies in the secondary ledger last night. Already reported it through the right channels. She paused at the door. You're welcome. Zara, we need to talk. About what keeps happening. A pause. I don't know what you're referring to. I think you do. A small smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Then she was gone, and Rafael was left standing in his own office, feeling profoundly off balance. The breaking point came 2 months in. They had just returned from a gallery event, one of those social occasions where appearing settled and personally grounded mattered more than anything discussed. Zara had played her role flawlessly, as she always did. Hand at his arm, eyes on him, whispering something dry and funny in his ear that he'd had to work to keep from laughing at openly. Back at the penthouse, Rafael went straight to his bathroom and stepped under a cold shower. He had just started to breathe normally when the door opened. You left your phone on the counter. Zara's voice was entirely unruffled, steam filling the room around her. Your mother called twice. Sounds important. She held up the phone, not particularly averting her eyes from the glass door. Something in Rafael snapped. He shut off the water, grabbed a towel, stepped out. Zara's eyes went wide, just briefly, just for a second, but she didn't step back. You need to learn about boundaries, he said. You need to learn to lock your door, she said. He took the phone from her hand, set it on the counter, and didn't move away. Why do you do this? Do what? Push, provoke. You know exactly what you're doing. I brought you your phone. Zara. They were inches apart now. He could see her pulse moving in her throat, could see the way her breathing had quietly shifted. She was not as unaffected as she performed. "You're playing a dangerous game," he said. "Maybe I like danger." "Maybe you don't know what you're asking for." She met his eyes. "Maybe you don't know what I can handle." Rafael kissed her, hard and without apology, braced for the moment she'd push him away. Instead, Zara kissed him back. Her hands gripped the edge of his towel and pulled him closer. The kiss went from impulsive to desperate, months of tension and careful professional distance colliding into something that had clearly been building the entire time. "Tell me to stop," he said against her neck. "No." "Zara, I said no." She pulled his face back to hers. "For once in your life, stop thinking and just—" She didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. Afterward, they sat on the bathroom floor catching their breath. Rafael waited for the awkwardness, for regret, for the speech. Instead, Zara stood up, found her clothes, and started getting dressed. "Where are you going?" he asked. "Bed. Work in the morning." "That's it?" She looked over, expression unreadable. "What do you want me to say? It happened. We move on." "Move on." "Look, boss." She buttoned her shirt without looking up. "I don't do the feelings thing. Love, attachment, it's a distraction. This was physical. Don't complicate it." Rafael stared at her, understanding arriving slowly and uncomfortably. For the first time in his life, he was the one who wanted more, and she was the one walking away. "You felt nothing?" he said quietly. She paused at the door. For just a moment, a fraction of one, her mask slipped. Something real flickered through. Then it was gone. "Good night, boss." She left, and Rafael sat on the cold tile floor for a long time, feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Not just desire, though that was there. Something older and more inconvenient, and significantly harder to manage. He'd finally found a woman who wasn't afraid of him, and she was determined to treat it as nothing. Okay, I need to know, are you Team Rafael catching feelings or Team Zara keeping it cold? Drop your thought in the comment below. The next morning, Zara walked into his office at 9 sharp with 2 coffees and a full daily agenda, looking unbothered. "Morning. Guadalajara call at 10, lunch with the minister's office at 1. I moved your 3 o'clock to 4 because the traffic is catastrophic today." She set his coffee down. "Also, your car needs servicing. You've been ignoring the indicator for 2 weeks." Rafael stared at her. "That's it?" "That's what?" "That's all you're going to say." She tilted her head, all wide-eyed innocence. "About what?" "Oh, the filing reorganization? I can walk you through the new system if it's confusing." "Zara." The smile played at the corner of her mouth. She was thoroughly and deliberately messing with him. "I'm just your PA, boss," she said pleasantly. "I make your coffee, manage your schedule, occasionally remove people from your orbit who've stayed too long." She headed for the door. "I'll go set up the conference room." Esteban appeared in the doorway the moment she left, clearly having heard something. He looked at Rafael. Rafael pointed at him. "Don't." Esteban held up both hands and disappeared. It happened again. Twice more. Always inevitable, always followed by Zara treating it as an ordinary event rather than something that mattered. She was present during it and professionally composed after it, and it was quietly making Rafael lose his mind in a way that nothing in 15 years of running a cartel had managed to do. He came home early one afternoon to find the penthouse quiet. Zara's door was closed, her bathroom running. He stood in the hallway, made a decision. He opened the door. The water shut off immediately. "What the— Rafael, I'm in the shower!" I know. Then leave. No. A long pause. The shower door swung open, and Zara stepped out, wrapped in a towel, hair dripping, eyes lit with genuine fury. You cannot just walk into someone's bathroom while they're… He kissed her. Not desperate this time. Slow and deliberate, his hands cupped around her face, kissing her like he had time for it and intended to use it. She pushed at his chest, annoyed sounds, half-formed objections, and then she stopped and kissed him back with the same weight, and when they finally broke apart, her forehead dropped against his shoulder. This is a terrible idea, she said quietly. I know. We work together. I'll fire you. She laughed, short and surprised. You absolutely cannot afford to lose me. I'll find a way to manage. Afterward, in the quiet of her room, Rafael said, Tell me about the streets. Which ones? A pause. Does it matter? Yes. He looked at her in the dark. Because you don't move like someone who just survived. You move like someone who was trained. She was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was lower, more careful. Foster care in Houston. Aged out at 18. Spent a few years navigating situations where reading people fast and moving faster was the difference between okay and not okay. She paused. I had someone who taught me things for a while. She's gone now. He didn't push. Everyone's hiding something, Zara said. Even you. Yes. You're not going to ask about mine? I just heard it. She turned to look at him. Then she pulled the sheet up and was quiet, and after a while her breathing slowed into sleep. Rafael lay there in the dark, looking at the ceiling, and understood that something had shifted in him that he wasn't going to be able to shift back. 3 days later, she handed him his clothes and told him to leave. Not cruelly, firmly, with something that looked like fear under the firmness. I can't do this, Rafael. Yes, you can. Please just go. She closed the door with a quiet, decisive click. He stood alone in the hallway. He'd wait, he decided, however long it took, because whatever Zara was running from in herself, this woman, who had never run from anything external in her life, she was worth the patience. The breakthrough came on an ordinary Wednesday evening. Rafael was finishing late work when he heard voices in the lobby. He recognized one immediately, Camila. He walked out to find her blocking Zara's path to the elevator, agitated, her composure fraying. He was mine, Camila was saying. We have history. I didn't know you existed until 5 seconds ago when you stepped in front of me, Zara said patiently. But, okay. He was my first real love. He chose me first, and then he… Camila's voice broke, her eyes filled. You don't know what it's like. Being with someone like him. Someone that intense, that much. I wasn't built for it. Zara was quiet. Okay, so you weren't. That's not his fault. I know that. Camila wiped her eye. But watching him choose someone else, watching the way he looks at you, her voice dropped. He never looked at me like that. Not once. Zara looked at her for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice had lost its edge. Then find someone who does look at you like that. Because staying here, ambushing his staff, holding on to something that's already gone, that's not love anymore. It's grief. And you deserve to stop grieving something that was never going to work. Camila grabbed her arm as she moved to leave. He'll get tired of you too, once the novelty wears off. Zara stopped, turned, and something in her eyes made Camila step back. I'm going to say something clearly, Zara said quietly. I'm not you. I'm not going to make him feel like he's wrong or broken or too much. Whatever happens between us, whether it lasts or it doesn't, it won't be because I couldn't handle him. It'll be on our terms, not yours. She freed her arm. Stop putting your ending on my story. She walked into the elevator without looking back. Rafael, who had been watching from the hallway, felt something move in his chest. She had defended him again. Not because it was her job, because she had wanted to. He went to his office and texted her, "My office, now." The response came in seconds. "Work thing or personal thing?" "Personal. Give me 2 minutes." When she walked in, he said, "I heard what you said to Camila." "She cornered me. I handled it." "You defended me." "I told her the truth." "Zara." He crossed the room. "You keep saying this means nothing, but you keep showing up. You keep defending me. You keep—" "Don't." She crossed her arms. Her hands were trembling slightly. "Your hands are shaking." She looked down, back up. "I'm cold." "You're not cold." "Rafael." "Stop running." He stood in front of her. "I'm asking you to stop." She was quiet for a long moment. "I'm not easy," she said. "I'm difficult most days. I argue for sport. I need space, and I'll always need it. I'm not someone who softens." She exhaled slowly. "I don't know how to do this without eventually messing it up." "I know all of that." "Then why do you want it?" He took her face in his hands. "Because every difficult, sharp-edged, impossible thing about you is exactly what I've spent years not being able to find in anyone else." She was quiet for a moment. Then, slowly, she leaned her forehead against his chest. "This is a genuinely terrible idea," she murmured. "Probably." "I'm going to be a lot." "Good." He kissed the top of her head. "So am I." She laughed, muffled against his shirt. And then she stayed there and didn't leave. The months that followed were chaotic and good. Zara remained impossible in all her original ways and added new ones. She started a coding project at midnight and forgot to sleep for it. She won arguments with his security team that she had no business winning. She figured out she had strong opinions about logistics infrastructure that turned out to be correct, which annoyed Esteban briefly, and then didn't. She also, slowly and without announcement, stopped running. She stayed after the hard conversations instead of leaving. She asked, once, about Rafael's childhood in Sinaloa, genuinely, not professionally. She let herself be held on the nights she couldn't sleep, rather than retreating to the couch. She was not easy, but she was, as it turned out, exactly suited to the particular difficulty of loving someone like him. 6 months later, Rafael came home to find Zara at the kitchen island, 3 empty coffee cups around her, fully consumed by something on her laptop. "What is this?" he asked. "Platform idea." She turned the screen toward him. "A network connecting kids in the system, foster youth, aged-out kids, street level, with real resources, jobs, education, housing that doesn't require references they can't get, mentorship." She looked up. "I keep thinking about who I was at 19 and what I needed that didn't exist." Rafael looked at the screen for a long time, then at her. "Build it," he said. "I'll need funding. I know people. I'll need time, which means I'll be distracted sometimes, behind sometimes. I'll live. And I'll need—" She stopped, looked at her laptop, looked back. "I need you to still be here when I come up for air, because I go deep on things. I disappear into them." Rafael pulled up the stool beside her and sat down. "I'll be here." The startup launched 8 months later, small at first, just Zara and 2 developers she'd found online, but the need was real and the concept was tight. Rafael watched with quiet pride as she threw herself into it completely. Late nights at the kitchen island, investor calls she paced through like a general, a pitch deck rebuilt 4 times. One evening he said, "You should quit being my PA." Zara looked up. "What?" "The company is taking off. You don't have bandwidth for both." Are you firing me? I'm setting you free. He sat across from her. You're wasted as an assistant. Build this full-time. She closed the laptop. And us? What happens if I'm not your employee anymore? We stop pretending the contract is what holds this together. He reached into his jacket and set a small box on the table between them. And we make it real. She looked at the box, then at him. Rafael. Open it. Inside was a ring, simple, elegant, chosen for someone who would never wear anything requiring maintenance. Exactly right for her. Marry me, he said. Zara stared at the ring for a long time. We've been together 6 months. I knew I wanted to marry you the night you put Camila in a trash bin. She laughed, sudden and real, eyes filling. That's insane. That's love. You're completely out of your mind. But her voice was warm, and she was reaching for the box. If I say yes, I'm still going to be difficult. I'll need space. I'll build this company into something real, which means I'll be unavailable in ways that require patience. I have patience. I can't cook, and I won't learn. I'm wearing sneakers under my dress at our wedding, and you cannot stop me. I wouldn't dare. She looked at the ring, at him, took a slow breath. Yes, she said. Yes, I'll marry you. He slipped the ring onto her finger, and she pulled him in, and the kiss was equal parts celebration and promise. I love you, she said against his lips, even though this whole thing has been completely chaotic. Especially because of that. That's really cheesy. You love it. I really do. 2 years later, Zara stood on a stage at a tech conference in Mexico City, presenting to a room full of investors and industry leaders. The platform had grown far beyond the sketches on the kitchen island. Millions of users, partnerships with 3 major corporations, international recognition. But what made her proudest wasn't the scale. It was the calls she still got from kids who'd found jobs, from young women who'd gotten into school, from people who'd had nothing to grip and had found something solid. When she walked off stage, Rafael was waiting in the wings, watching her with the expression she'd learned to recognize over 2 years as entirely, unperformably real. You were extraordinary, he said. I was so nervous. You couldn't tell. He pulled her into his arms. You owned that room. Years of practice pretending to be your devoted fiancée. She grinned against his shoulder. Turns out acting pays off. It wasn't all acting. No, she pulled back to look at him. It really wasn't. They walked out together, hand in hand, into the noise and light of the city. Zara's company was valued at over $2 billion. She had gone from aging out of foster care in Houston to standing on that stage in less than 4 years, which still felt unreal on the quiet mornings she let herself think about it. But what made her happy, what she came home to, what she reached for in the dark and always found, was the man beside her, the one who had waited, been patient, and never once made her feel like she was too much. The one who had looked at every jagged, complicated, unpolished thing about her and decided, this is exactly what I want. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For not giving up, for waiting, for loving me before I knew how to love you back. Rafael stopped walking, turned to face her. You gave me the only thing I'd stopped believing I could have, he said. Someone who wasn't afraid of me. Someone who chose me, knowing everything I am. Zara looked up at him. We're quite the pair. The best pair. So, what's next? He smiled, slow and private, the one he kept just for her. Whatever you want. She leaned into him. Can we get dinner first? I'm starving. I was too nervous to eat today. He laughed. It was still her favorite sound. Yes, he said. We can get dinner." They started walking again, talking about everything and nothing, planning trips, arguing gently about where to open the next platform office, the way they always did. And somewhere in Mexico City, in a penthouse that had stopped feeling empty a long time ago, a powerful man had finally found the one woman who could meet him exactly where he stood. And a woman who had never had anywhere soft to land had finally found someone worth staying for. They were just getting started. The end. If you love this story of a powerful mafia boss finding his perfect match in the most unexpected woman, smash that like button, drop a comment telling me your favorite moments, and subscribe because I have more cross-cultural romance stories coming that will absolutely wreck you in the best way possible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.